Hello and welcome back to One-Off Reviews on the Residents of Horror channel. I'm your host Kevin, and tonight we have a particular theme. I figured I'd put my detective hat on considering there is going to be a murder mystery afoot.
This is murder.
Murder!
Murder.
Murder! Murder? Get out! Murder! Murder! Give me a sense. Murder!
Today I figured we'd do something kind of fun and look at the 1959 House on a Haunted Hill. Or as I used to call it, I don't know why I used to call it this, but Haunted House on a Haunted Hill. Do you think that had enough hauntings in it? May I say, this film it's fun. It's fun just because it's kind of goofy, and it tries to take itself seriously sometimes, and it just comes off incredibly hammy. For starters, beginning with its intro of this scene.
The ghosts are moving tonight, restless, hungry. Since it was built a century ago, 7 people, including my brother, have been murdered in it. I've only spent one night there, and when they found me in the morning, I was almost dead.
Oh yeah, by the way, dummy me, forgot to mention that Vincent Price is in this movie.
I'm Frederick Lauren, and I've rented the house on Haunted Hill tonight so that my wife can give a party. A haunted house party.
In this movie, Vincent Price is giving his wife a party and invites a bunch of people to stay at this haunted place. And he goes into explaining who's there and why they're there. And, oh yeah, there's money on the line too. So if you stay the night, you get $10,000. So, not bad. You know what? Get possibly murdered or get money. One of the two. You can only have one of those two. Oh no, not this again. One of the two.
It was my wife's idea to have our guests come in funeral cars. She's so amusing. This is Lance Schroeder, a test pilot, so no doubt a brave man. But don't you think you can be much braver if you're paid for it? This is Ruth Bridges. You've no doubt read her column in the newspapers. She says her reason for coming to the party is to write a feature article on ghosts. You've already met Watson Pritchard, a man living in mortal fear of a house, and yet he is risking his life to spend another night here. I wonder why.
And by the way, Pritchard is a very interesting character. I don't know why. The man's kind of a maniac, and I'm kind of curious if he's maybe the one who committed some of the murders himself. He seems pretty nutty. At least later. Well, you'll see. You will see. You will definitely see.
This is Dr. David Trent, a psychiatrist. He claims that my ghost will help his work on hysteria. But don't you see a little touch of greed there? Around the mouth and eyes? This is Nora Manning. I picked her from the thousands of people who work for me because she needed the 10,000 more than most. Supports her whole family. Isn't she pretty?
And last but certainly not least, they introduce a character named Nora, who is, to me, the film's punching bag. Like seriously, they do not give this woman a break. She is the target through this whole movie.
You have until midnight to find the house on Haunted Hill.
Now, before moving on, I gotta say, the architecture of this house is actually pretty interesting. I want to say it's probably from the 20s. I don't know, I'll throw something on screen confirming, like, the house and how old it is or whatever, just because of its crazy design. It's kind of a weird design. It actually looks more like a prison than anything else. And right out the gate, the film does not take any breaths at poking at this woman. It literally tries to kill her.
Who closed the door?
This thing's made of solid steel.
Just in time to introduce Vincent Price. Vincent.
Tonight, prepare yourself for a night of spooks and scares, as we have invited over some of our most famous friends for some tricks and also some treats.
Our guests are here, unfortunately still alive. Is your face on yet?
That'd be funny. She just comes down and just like.
Hello, Clarice.
Okay, I'm just gonna gush over Vincent Price for a second. I just love the way he talks in this movie. Or just in movies in general. I could listen to him. So they make it rightfully apparent that him and his wife do not get along. They do not get along at all. They have a very toxic relationship, I guess one could say, considering they, she has tried to murder him before, and he's had like 5 wives, and I'm assuming that he's tried to murder them, or has murdered them as well. So yeah, they're perfect for each other. I remember we talked about Pritchard being a little manic and kind of, maybe he's the one that's been murdering people. Yeah, they're all hanging out in the dining room, and then he does this.
This is what she used on my brother and her sister. Hacked them to pieces. We found parts of the bodies all over the house, in places you wouldn't think. The funny thing is the heads have never been found. Hands and feet and things like that. But no heads.
You know, I'm kind of surprised Pritchard just doesn't give tours. Like, he's so obsessed with this house and the fact that
the ghosts are here, and you can be one of them too, but you'd better leave, or you will be one of them.
I'm curious, like, does this guy have a hobby or anything? Like, that's all he talks about every second he's on screen. I think this house is just his identity. I think it is. I don't think if he could be the house, maybe he is the house. Pritchard is the house. That's his soul. That's his soul you're looking at. His skin is the building. His soul is, yeah, you got it.
See that stain? Blood. A young girl was killed here. And whatever got her wasn't human. Don't stand there. What do you mean? Where? It's too late. They've marked you.
I like how she just sits there like, huh. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't have just stood here with my handsies out. So Pritchard continues to give them a house tour. He reveals that there is a vat of acid in the basement.
Mr. Norton did a good deal of experimenting with wines, but his wife didn't think it was any good.
So he filled the vat with acid and threw her in. She was supposed to stay down. But the bones came up.
Look out!
God, she didn't fall in.
Oh yes, and he makes sure to demonstrate that there's definitely acid in there, and it eats and melts skin and hair, and just leaves the bones to float to the top. At this moment, Lance and Nora separate from the group and have a bit of a heart-to-heart. And of course, as we all know, it's a really, 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 really smart idea to separate yourself from the group, especially when the house does some of the separating for you. Once again, the house decides to bully Nora by doing this thing. Just sending a little old lady with roller skates out to bully her. Just like, one of the doors opens, and Anne runs up back to the top to the others, comes back to get help for Lawrence.
You all right?
Nothing that money won't cure.
I wonder why they didn't kill him. Who? He didn't bump his head. They hit him.
You better get that checked in a day or so. Thanks, Doc.
So the doctor character patches up Lance, and then they continue to, have a drink, talk amongst themselves, and Lance grabs Nora, and he's like, you know what, we're gonna go back down there, and we're gonna do some investigating. We're gonna do some investigating about what hit me and what is down there, because we need to know.
6. Now, I'm gonna knock on the other wall. When you hear me, you knock on this wall.
Lance is trying to figure out if there's a secret passage, and he does the bright idea of leaving the woman that the house likes to bully by herself and tapping on the wall just to see if she can hear anything different. And then, well, more chicanery happens. And my gosh, I like how this old lady is just like in the dark all the time at just the right moment. The old lady's just down there in the dark with a pair of nods like, "Brother team, going dark. We own the night, Nora."
Oh, Lance! I saw it again!
I also like how the old lady just skates by and immediately after Lance runs in and like doesn't see her and he's like, "There was no old lady. What are you talking about?" The loony bin's missing one. At this point, Nora runs into Vincent Price's jack-o'-lantern of a wife. just waiting for her, just like,
Hi. We have so much to talk about, you and I.
You're in danger. We all are. But who? I hope for your sake you never find out.
immediately after runs into Lance. And I assume that she's trying to play the sympathy card with Lance and trying to open up to him, telling him of the devious things that Vincent Price has done. Like the way he combs his mustache and grows it, and the way he slicks his hair back. After that, Vincent Price does confront his wife about this, and his wife is insistent that, no, I'm not going to join your party, and he's incredibly insistent that yes, in fact, she is. So it is now midnight, and it is time to start the party. He lets everybody know, including Nora, who, again, is bullied by the house. Only her.
Come with us before he kills you.
And not only is she bullied by finding a head, but now she's being bullied by one of the house servants. Or should I say warned in the most intimidating way that you can warn someone. We finally meet the butler and his roller skate wife.
That's Jonas Slides and his wife. They've been caretakers here for years. She's blind, you know. May I have your attention, please?
So now he sets the ground rules of what to expect from the evening of staying there, and if somebody dies, it's just going to make the money pool bigger.
If I should die, you will be paid by my estate. When the door is locked from the outside by the caretakers, we'll all be forced to stay in this house until morning. If any of you decide not to stay, you must leave with the caretakers now. You won't have a chance to change your minds later, because there'll be no way to get out.
So now they have no choice. They must all participate, they must all stay in the house and just try and survive the night. At which point, now Vincent Price's character decides to reveal party favors.
But we have some party favors for you in these little coffins. This is my wife's idea. I must say, I think it's rather dangerous.
Now, I have a little bit of a personal pet peeve about this scene in particular, mostly because of the dangerous gun handling. Especially this part right here.
I suppose you all know how to use one of these things, but in case you don't, you just press down on this lever with your thumb and then pull the trigger.
If he did that in real life, the concussion from the muzzle would probably jack with her vision. Like, it would hurt her. He would have blinded his wife, probably. Also, the shell casing's hot, so, you know, the moment she gets smacked in the face, she's getting hot shells in her face. And I like how, like, after he just flips the hand to the side, and he's like, I'm gonna flag everyone in the room with it. Flagging is when you take a gun and you point it at people without really paying attention. And that's pretty much what he does with his finger still on the trigger. So he's just sitting there just like, it's loaded.
You see, they're loaded.
So I think that the kind of gun he has is a 1911. And I found this just kind of funny. Is, you know, the weapon that won 2 world wars. According to some people. I'm joking. But the mag, and I'll do this. My weapon is clear. This is a mag. It is empty. And so is this gun. I'm doing that for demonstration purposes. So, when he fires the weapon, it's probably got like 6 rounds in there, and he gives it to Pritchard, who probably deserves at least 1 less round considering how dangerous he's been with that knife from earlier, swinging that around. So, I think that's fine.
Dr. Trent, don't you approve of our little party favors?
Suppose Nora had had a gun when she mistook the blind woman for a ghost.
I don't think anyone else is going to walk around in total darkness.
Oh, I'm sure we're not going to go running around the house shooting each other, aren't you?
Oh, come now, Doctor. Don't be such a killjoy. We're going to be super safe with these things, and nobody's going to get hurt. That's perfect. Yeah, let's combine alcohol with the gun. The funny thing is how everybody else continues to handle their firearms, like constantly pointing them at each other and waving them around. And at any moment, I'm sitting there kind of thinking, like, if this was real life, it wouldn't surprise me if this happened.
You said your sister-in-law killed a man and a woman here and cut them up? You said they found hands and feet, but they never found any heads. Would you like to see one of those heads? Would you all like to see one of those heads? Well then, just follow me.
And of course, this poor girl is bullied again because there is no head in her suitcase this time. Oh, there was no head in your case. Are you having a mental breakdown right now? I got a bone to pick with this scene. Just look how loose this rope is. There's no tension. She's just there. Like, how did she hang herself with that? Or whoever hung her, he hung. He just like quickly just unwraps his, like, no tension in the rope whatsoever. How is she hanging up there? And we would discover it's Vincent Price's wife. She's
dead, Mr. Lauren. Your wife hanged herself.
And Nora pops up again and says, hey, Vincent Price's character totally, like, tried to kill me, strangled me, and I ran away, and he doesn't know I'm still alive. So Lawrence basically, or Lance, I keep calling him Lawrence, I'm getting these names confused, I'm sorry guys. Lance decides, well, just stay in my room and you'll be safe, and, you know, don't let anybody see you, because we want the secret of you being alive to remain a secret. And also, Vincent Price walks back into his room where his wife's body is, and catches Pritchard being Pritchard.
What are you doing in here?
I'm the only one who understands.
Understands what?
Your wife isn't there anymore. She's already joined them.
At this point, the house does the most elaborate bullying you could possibly think of. And Nora is definitely losing her cool.
If I find a way out, I'll come back and get you.
And how, the house is just like, it's still bullying her, but it's trying to go around and be like, okay, maybe I was a little too mean. Let me play some nice music for you. How about that? How about that? And Nora responds by singing a song of her own. So the doctor decides to go and have a talk with Vincent Price, and I just love how he answers that door.
An admission of guilt, Doctor?
Certainly not. There's either somebody else in this house or one of us has left his room. Did you hear anything?
Organ music?
That, and someone walking.
You got yours? Ready?
You look downstairs, and I'll look up here.
Why not together?
There may be only minutes, seconds left of someone's life. Why waste time?
And then there is a big reveal.
It's almost over, darling. Every detail was perfect. We've done it. A perfect crime. Beautiful.
Has she killed him?
Not yet, but she will.
Get me out of this hanging harness. David, are you sure none of them will suspect us?
Of what? An hysterical girl accidentally shoots somebody? Who would suspect that we planned it that way, that we drove her to it?
What about my suicide?
But just a ghost party gag. We'll claim it was a dummy since I'm the only one who touched you.
And the caretakers?
Well, they had no idea what they were really doing.
What about Nora? She's not stupid, you know.
Darling, believe me, everything we planned is working perfectly.
It is then revealed that it's not the house that is in fact bullying Nora, it is these two.
No!
And so the good doctor goes down to the basement as well, and, well, he decides to open the vat of acid to get rid of Vincent Price's body.
David? David?
It is now revealed that Vincent Price was not dead. He had a plan, and he basically, was a puppet master himself.
I hate Me Too.
And once this reveal is there, the rest of the gang finally catch up.
It's him. He's alive.
You didn't shoot anyone, my dear. I loaded your gun with blanks. I can tell you all now. Trent and my wife were planning to kill me. Trent tried to throw me in the vat. My wife stumbled and fell. I'm ready for justice to decide if I'm innocent or guilty.
My wife stumbled and fell. Oh yes, that's totally what happened.
Now there are 9. There'll be more, many more. They're coming for me now. And then they'll come for you.
And, well, Pritchard is Pritchard again. He tries to scare people, but the only person he's really scaring is himself. And that concludes the movie. Interesting film. I think I saw this when I was 16 or 17. I think I saw it when I was 17. It's a fun little movie. A little goofy, but I think that adds to the charm of it. I really like how nonchalantly everything, the house and everyone just decides to pick on Nora because she seems to be the weakest one out of the bunch. That poor woman needs a vacation after this. Editing Kevin, I just realized something in the credits that's kind of cute. They list all the characters in the credits, and then they list the skeleton as himself. It makes me wonder if nobody was taking this seriously from the beginning, and they just played it straight. Anywho, that's all the time I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this review. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and tell us what you think down in the comments below. We would love your feedback.